Please don't roast me for my missing acrylics. It's been so long since I got my nails done. They keep falling off. Christmas happened a couple months ago, as it does every year, and I got a lot of bookstore money for Christmas. My family never knows what to get me for Christmas, and at this point, my family and friends are just getting me bookstore gift cards. I used those gift cards to my advantage, and I bought a lot of books in the past 2 months. So here's a little tour of all the books I got. Okay, first, Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I've been wanting a new book series to start and get super invested in for a while now, and I've heard a lot of good things about Six of Crows, so I figured, why not read it? I have no idea what this book's about. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what this book is about at all. I'm aware that BookTube at this point has made this book like a staple and you need to read Six of Crows, so I'm going to read it, and if I enjoy it, I'll read the rest. I don't really know what I'm going to think of this book, but I think I'll like it. I think this is a book that I'm going to like. Next, we have The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This is a classic. I didn't buy it of my own free will. We're reading The Great Gatsby in English this year, and my school does not provide books for novel study, so I had to buy it myself. I got the cheapest version I could find that didn't have a terrible cover. The cheaper version was like 5 cents cheaper, but the cover sucked. So we got this. I really don't know what The Great Gatsby is about. Everyone I know who's read it says it was awful. Well, everyone I know in high school who's read it says it's awful. Everyone I know above high school who's read it says it's good, except my sister. She hated it. My choice was between this or A Brave New World, and apparently A Brave New World has a lot of sex in it, and I'm not here for that. So we're reading Gatsby. Again, I don't know what it's about. I just know I have to read it to pass my English class. When the Curtain Falls by Carrie Hope Fletcher. I have been waiting for one of Carrie's books to come out outside of England for so long. Carrie has been one of my favorite YouTubers, people, role models since I was about 9. And I found out she was writing books, and I was so excited, and then none of them came out outside of England, and it was a very sad day for me. But I finally found one. This book is basically about theater and ghosts, and if you know me, you know I love theater, and I love ghosts, and I love Carrie, so, I'm sure this book's gonna be great. I am very, very much looking forward to it. I'm really hyped. I'm so glad one of her books is finally out in Canada. I've been wanting to read her books for so long. Up next, we have A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. This is another book that I don't know what it's about. I have a bad habit of buying books I know absolutely nothing about. One of my favorite booktubers, Kat, aka Paperback Dreams, I will link her video about this book down below. She read this book. She highly recommended this book. I really want to read this book now. This book is apparently very sad, so I can't wait to bawl my eyes out to it because I cry during everything. Like everything. It's a thick boy, that's a thick ass book. I think it's like a character study, maybe? Who knows? I certainly don't, but I'm very much looking forward to it. Next, we have a book I have been wanting to read for so long now, and that is Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. I'm already working on this book, and I'm very much enjoying it so far. I watched the Good Omens TV show, and I absolutely fell in love with it, and so I had to read the book, and the book is just as great as the show so far. Good Omens is something I actually know something about, so I can tell you about the plot. Good Omens is about a demon named Crowley and an angel named Aziraphale, who, against all odds, become friends. It's not explicitly stated, but they're gay. They're gay. Trust me. Crowley and Aziraphale both become quite attached to humanity through all the years they've lived there. They've lived on Earth for about 6,000 years. Crowley was the serpent from Eden, and Aziraphale was the guardian of the Eastern Gate of Eden, and that's how they met. They've been on Earth for a long time. And then they find out that Armageddon is happening, and the two of them take it upon themselves to stop it by finding the Antichrist, who happens to be an 11-year-old boy named Adam. The show was so good and so funny and heartwarming, and it made me cry like a little bit. And I know Neil Gaiman worked on the show as well as having written the book, so I'm expecting the book to be just as great. So far, it is just as great. I'm really, really looking forward to this. Looking forward to it, I'm already reading it. I'm looking forward to finishing it. Here's one that might be a little unexpected that I haven't read yet. The Hazelwood by Marissa Albert. The Hazelwood is like a booktube staple. When this first came out, people would not stop talking about it, and I never read it. I decided it's about time I read it. You know, it was only $14. Why not? I'm not quite sure what it's about. All I know is it's like a fantasy. Is it a fantasy? It's gotta be a fantasy, right? It's like, has fairy tale themes, I think. I'm really not sure. It probably has something to do with fairies. Every fantasy book these days has something to do with fairies. I'm not complaining, but like, come on. Okay, I'm reading the back and it says there's something about cults. Is there a cult in this book? We'll find out. I kind of maybe might do a little reading vlog for this because I know it's such an iconic book and like everybody's read it. Apparently there's a sequel. I'll probably read that once I finish this one. If I like it, I'll probably like it. This seems like the type of book I'd like. I just want to say though, the cover is beautiful. Like I picked this up in the store and I was like, whoa. Stunning. I love it a lot. Next we have Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste. I don't want to butcher her last name, so I won't try and say it. I have heard a lot of good things about this author and this book, and I'm really, really looking forward to reading it. Again, this is something I don't know anything about. The cover's stunning though. Like, look at this. The beauty here. Whoa. I don't really know much about this book, about it in general. I know the author's apparently really great. The book's apparently really great. You know, I think it's won an award. Maybe. If it won something, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm not. Who knows? It's not super long. It's only, how many pages? It's only 338 pages. I can probably read this in a day. This is not going to take me very long. I did buy this in January and I still haven't read it, but I'll get to it. I've been in a reading slump lately, and I bought a lot of books, so I better get out of that goddamn reading slump. And the last book, if you know anything about me, it'll be a shock that I hadn't already read this, and it won't be a shock that I loved it. The Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare, also Wesley Chu. I've already read this book. I read this book in a day. I loved this book so much. If you don't know what this book's about, where have you been? Good Lord. Read the Shadowhunters Chronicles. This book, if you don't know what it's about, it follows Alec and Magnus, these two boys right here, who try and go on a romantic European vacation. And as it turns out, that's not going to go great. There uncovers this plot about a cult that Magnus accidentally might have started. Magnus might have started a demon-worshipping cult, and they need to track down said cult and stop it from all the things it's doing, and that kind of gets in the way of their romantic vacation. Also, these two just really want to get laid. Like, a subplot of the book is them trying to get laid in every location, and someone always interrupts them, whether it be a demon, a warlock lady whose name I can never remember. This book was phenomenal. I loved it so much. I love everything Cassandra Clare writes, and I especially love Magnus and Alec. They are my boys. I love them very, very much. I gave this book a 5-star on Goodreads, I think. If you're not following me on Goodreads, follow me. I never update it, but sometimes I remember. It was phenomenal. I finished it in a day. I was so invested. I loved it so much. I was yelling at my friends over text about it. Read the Shadowhunters Chronicles. This is not a book that you can read on its own. You have to read the rest of the Shadowhunters Chronicles. Not the rest of them, actually. You just have to read the first 3 books of the Mortal Instruments, and then you can read this one. Because it takes place between books 4 and 5. But Magnus and Alec aren't in book 4 very much. So nothing spoiled. I love this book so much. Please read it. Please. And that is all the books I've bought recently. As you can see, I have a very bad habit of buying books I know absolutely nothing about. But it's okay. It's okay. I genuinely can't buy a book and read a book without at least liking it a little bit. Except Twilight. We don't vibe with Twilight. If you enjoyed this video, like it. Dislike it if you didn't like the video. It's something either way. Subscribe if you want to see more book videos. I make a lot of book videos. I made more book videos than I thought I would when I first started doing this. Books are my jam, man. Fucking love books. I can't really think of anything else to say, so that's it. That's the video. One day I will make an outro that doesn't make me want to throw myself in front of a bus.